before I do any sort of repairs on this quarter, I'm going to do a shrink on it to give it some rigidity back. It's as you can see, it's popping a lot, and it's just going to make it really difficult when I start moving metal around with a hammer and dolly. So using a carbon rod instead of this sort of old school oxy shrink. It's the same principle, but in this case we can control a little bit. I won't be doing any sort of quenching to shock it back into to get sort of some stiffness back. I'm a bit worried that it might make the metal quite brittle. It's really thin metal, so we'll give it a shrink. I'm doing it in this area here. It's low. I can't seem to, if you push it out from the back, it doesn't want to stay out. And if I start hitting around with the dolly, it's just going to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So I want to make that sort of tight again before I start sort of pushing metal back around where it needs to be. So I'm sort of just looking at that low area in a spiral pattern, or I can do like a cherry in one spot. But in this case, I'm going to start on the outer and sort of spiral into the middle of where it is, which is sort of roughly about there. So I'm just going to give it not too much and just see how it starts reacting. I just sort of stopped in the center there, just right in the center. You can see it's starting to play now. It actually wants to stay out, whereas before it would just stay in when you popped it in. So I've pulled it out a little bit. It's giving it some strength back, which it heaps more than it was before. So what I do there, I can still feel it's a little low here. I might do a couple little cherry spots and try and see if I can stiffen it up. I'm sort of just pushing from the back, feeling where it wants to sort of be. See, now it's tight. It's nice and tight now. Still a little low. I might try and push on the back here just a little bit while I do a little shrink. You don't want to do it for too long. You don't want too much heat in there. But now that's nice and tight. Now I can sort of put down some layout fluid down. I'll give it a block, and it can just show me sort of where I've got to start really. But this was my choice. Other people would do it different. You know, and each panel is different, each repair is different. So in this case, this is how I chose to do it. But now you can see it's tight. It's not popping at all. It's where it needs to be. So now we can get on to the fun stuff.